BT Bitch with a franchise guy, catching up with an episode of Jaguars franchise. Have the 2019 awards race, so Lamar Jackson won MVP. Take a look at all the runners up. Wilson up at 10th. Coach here goes to Matty P from the Detroit Lions at 13-3. I wonder if no, our guy's not up here, unfortunately. Going on to the AFC because that's where we're at. Don't really care much for the AFC, but Lamar Jackson, of course, got Offensive Player of the Year. Allen, Roethlisberger, Watson, Nick Foles from the Broncos. There's at 7-9, and Ryan Fitzmagic. Defensive goes to Brown, Miller. Thurston Armbrister. It's a top 10 guy. I mean, it's pretty fire right there. You know what I mean? Who would have thought Thurston Armbrister, of all people, ended up in the top 10? I mean, Josh Oliver ends up top 10 for Offensive Rookie of the Year. Not bad at all. Defensive Rookie of the Year goes to Devin Bush. Josh Allen ends up in second place. So Gary Johnson comes up in third. So not, I mean, boy, I mean, maybe we had a couple of wins. Maybe these guys would have gotten the bump. But Lamar Jackson just clean sweeps MVP Offensive Player and Best QB. I mean, is he best running back too? LOL. No, that's Melvin Gordon, followed by Mark Ingram, James Conner, Kareem Hunt, James White, Dion Lewis, Kenyon Drake, Philip Lindsay, Marlon Mack, and Sony Michel. Willie Snead is surprisingly the best receiver over someone like Julian Edelman and over someone like Odell Beckham. I saw Julian Edelman. I was like, oh, it's almost Julian Edelman. Marshall Yanda's best O-line. Not bad, not bad. You see a lot of the same teams up there. If you have a good O-line, usually they'll kind of group together. But Miles Garrett, I'm just thinking of the wrong people now. Miles Garrett wins Best Defensive Lineman. Josh Allen finishes in the top 10. Best linebacker. Do we have Armbrister finishing? We do not have Armbrister finishing, surprisingly. I mean, he was up there for defensive player, but not top linebacker for some reason. Defensive back, we have no one, of course. Joe Hayden, I forgot Joe Hayden actually played still. Best kicker. Do we have anyone? Daniel Carlson, Randy Bullock, Brandon McManus, Suck Up. Young Ho Koo's up there. I guess all the field goals he attempts. I mean, the only reason behind it, but take a look at the season stats. Chet Henne, 2,180 yards, 7 touchdowns to 12 picks. I mean, Ralston Thurber, 791 yards. You have 1 touchdown to 6 picks. Not the greatest running game. I mean, this probably suffered the most of a setback because of us resetting it. But Dalton Crow's only finished with 496 rushing yards and only a single touchdown. 4 fumbles on the season. Bo Scarborough gets 6 for 55 with a touchdown. Henne, 24 rushes for 51 yards, no touchdowns. I mean, Ralston Thurber, 23 rushing yards, no touchdowns. Elijah Hood led the team with 3 rushing touchdowns somehow. Oliver and John Weeks both had 1 rush attempt for 4 and 1 for 3 yards. Receiving, our team was led by DeMarcus Ayers at 628 yards with 1 touchdown. Josh Oliver, 546 with a touchdown. Weeks, 484 with 3 touchdowns. Taysom Hill, 424 with a touchdown. Dalton Crozen, 369. So not an overall bad year for Crozen. Came up just a little short of, I want to say, 900 yards of total offense. I mean, who would have thought that from that running back of Opila? He came up just short of 1,000 yards of offense, or that's sort of 900 yards of offense. But Justin Murray allowed 16 sacks, 16 games. Fleer allowed 12. Gonzalez allowed 10. Mulatto allowed 7 and 7. Darrell Green allowed 3. So he's surprisingly one of our better linemen. Look at that. Oh boy. Thurston Armbrister led the team with 30 tackles, half a sack, 2 picks. Marcus Rios had 102 tackles. It's kind of weird when your second best tackler is a cornerback, Gary Johnson, 99 tackles and an interception. Chris Conti, 96 and 2 for picks. Antoine Davis had half a sack. Stribling had 2 interceptions. Not bad. Tyson Graham, Josh Allen had 6.5 sacks and 66 tackles. Respectable, I'd say. OC had half of a sack and an interception right there. Michael Hughes had half of a sack. Same with John Cunningham had half. And Osman had a full sack right here on 30 tackles. Anyone else special? And see, no. Telvin Smith was on the IR all season, did not get any tackles. Young Hoku was 15 for 22 and 13 for 13. Not too shabby for Mr. Koo. Johnny Townsend on 40 punts, 2,100 yards. No blocks, which is good. Returning, Isaac Whitney, 444 yards, and Evan Berry, 237 yards returning. Punting return, Evan Berry had 129 return yards on punts. So you see the wild card game. These are the matchups right here. Philly defeats Atlanta. New England defeats Pittsburgh. Seattle defeats Green Bay, and Tennessee defeats Houston. Not too shabby. Divisional round. We have Baltimore defeating New England, Philly defeating Detroit, Tennessee losing to Kansas City, and Seattle falling to Carolina. We have Carolina beating Philly, and we have Kansas City beating Baltimore, and we have Kansas City beating Carolina. So the Kansas City Chiefs are your Super Bowl, champions right here. Who would have seen that one coming? Not me. Andy Reid finally gets his ring, but hey, we're gonna go all the way over here. Gonna go stats. Let's take a look at where we all finished. I mean, we couldn't have finished that bad, could we have? Like, for real though, like, how bad could we have finished? NFL, oh boy, Tom Brady 4,700 yards, Andrew Luck 450, 44 touchdowns, 42. Drew Brees three touchdowns. Oh my lord. The more we're looking at, the worse we are. The worse it gets. Oh my, stop showing me all this. Darnold the worst at 21-18 for starting quarterbacks. It looks like Eli Manning looked respectable for some reason. Trubisky looking okay. Dolan looking okay. Kyler Murray 20-16, not great, not great at all. Cam Newton, Wentz 27. Oh, there's Chad Henne. Only person worse than Chad Henne is Dwayne Haskins, Case Keenum. So the Redskins quarterbacks are worse than Chad Henne for starters. So not the greatest company I'd say to be in. Rushing the ball can't get much worse than probably where we're at right now. McCaffrey led probably 16 touchdowns right there, led the league. So I don't know. Kerryon Johnson, Devontae Freeman, bunch of guys well over 1,000 yards. Dion Lewis is our first guy under 1,000. Philip Lindsay only 900 yards, bit of a setback. It looks like the Patriots had two guys close to 1,000 yards, so they had like almost 2,000 yards rushing on the season probably. If you want to throw Tom Brady's numbers in there, and other random screenplays probably. Jordan Howard had an okay season with Philly. Le'Veon Bell had a pretty bad season with the Jets. Crozen finishing above Dalvin Cook, he probably got hurt. Also finishing above McKinnon, David Johnson, Foreman, Allen. So we're finishing above a bunch of quarterbacks pretty much. It's Kyler Murray, Leonard Fournette, he finishes above. Marcus Mariota, Deshaun Watson, Michelle we're finishing above. So not actually that bad for Crozen now that we're looking at the bigger picture of it. I mean, a lot of these guys aren't starters, but hey, they're still running backs. They're still getting multiple attempts, and Crozen's still better than them all. I mean, Darius Geis should probably be the starter for the Redskins, but he's not. And we finished better than him, though. So, hey, give credit to where credit is due. Bo Scarborough had more rushing yards than Nick Foles and Tom Brady. I mean, Thurber had more rushing yards than Dwayne Haskins. Bryce Love, down there. I mean, it's not a lot of good, a lot of falls off pretty quick, really. We're just speeding through it down here. Can't really see who we got down here. Jesse James, bunch of down the negatives. The Des Bryant -3 yards with the Steelers. Oh boy, Antonio Brown -3 yards with the Raiders. Receiving, I don't believe we'll be anywhere close to the top of this list. A bunch of guys going over 1,000 yards. Travis Benjamin. Looks like the Redskins had a guy close to 1,000. Alshon Jeffrey had an okay season. Ertz had a pretty much of a down season right there. Went from 1,000 yards to under 800. Des Bryant, pretty decent return season. Jimmy Graham was underutilized in Green Bay once again. Kelsey had a down year. Oh boy, there's a lot of players. Josh Oliver, there he is. That's our first Jaguar. Hey, look at that. We allowed the second most sacks this season. Conklin of all people. I thought Conklin was a lot better than that. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. By tackles, we came in second place behind Bobby Wagner of all people for tackles. Miles Shack finished with 128. So, I mean, he showed he can ball out. I'm surprised that defense in Philly didn't do better than what they did. That they only finished, with a lowly record pretty much. I thought they would have definitely been higher in the overall standings. Probably have been a worse draft pick for us, but no, we got a decent draft pick. So we got like a mid-round draft pick from the Philadelphia Eagles, which is really surprising. I want to say again. Yeah, you see, we've had a lot of guys up here for tackles. Kind of surprised by kicking. Ryan Suckup, Robbie Gold, Daniel Carlson with 100%. Where are we at? Young Hoku, there we are above Gay and below. Ahead of Lutz. Punting wise, we are, oh boy, we're actually not the worst punting team. Bosher, Anger, nope, Townsend, we're ahead of Anger and behind Weber Sanchez. Kick returns, we are gonna be down here again too. So not too great on kick returns. But if you guys like this episode, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. If you guys missed any episodes, check the playlist down below. We're into like what the mid 30s now in episodes, so you got plenty of stuff to catch up on. But until next time, YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, like, and comment does help me out a ton with the YouTube algorithm. So until next time, YouTube, peace out and stay super classy, I guess.